As we continue to navigate this unprecedented real estate market, I wanted to give you a few tips when buying a home. I'm gonna be honest, it is a very challenging buyer's market right now. The needle is definitely in the seller's favor, but as your realtor, I wanted to at least put you in a position to be successful. So let's dive in. Number one, expect multiple offers. With so few homes that are available on the market right now, you can definitely expect there to be a lot of competition. So pack your patience, be ready, be prepared, be strategic, and it might take a few offerings. I should say it will take a few offerings before you land on that perfect home. Definitely be prepared to receive a multiple counter offer back from a seller. Okay, so on this subject, here's my first tip. Be pre-approved with a lender. So that means actually talk to a lender, have them go over all of your W-2s, your 1099s, your tax returns, your FICO scores. Get all of that out of the way so that you have a golden ticket pre-approval letter. And I can't stress this enough, make sure the lender is local, not a lender from out of the area, potentially not even a big bank. If you can get a local direct or local broker, and when I say local, this is a good demonstration. The lender should be familiar with the actual property, not as much as I am, but decently familiar with the neighborhood, decently familiar with the location geographically. I might even go as far as saying have a local lender who's in the same city. It's gonna play a big factor when your offer gets submitted. Think about the old resume tactics that we all learned in high school and college. You want your resume to pop out. You want your offer to pop out. And a listing agent that's reviewing 10, 20, 30 offers, if they also know who the local lender is, that's gonna be helpful. All right, so the second thing to expect in this market, be prepared to lose out on a few homes. It kind of goes along with that first one of packing your patience, but really set your expectations so that you're not extremely disappointed when you miss out on that first one. This is all about the experience and understanding that it's gonna take a few tries to land on that perfect home. So don't be discouraged if you miss out on your first offering. If you know and you plan to miss out on one or two homes, then it's gonna be a lot better experience in the overall grand scheme of things. So another thing that you can expect, the third thing, you're probably gonna have to pay over listing price to secure a property. So our market has really, it's changed. The dynamic has changed. It's such a hot seller's market that I know it sounds unconventional, but the list price is often kind of the starting bid price. Now in South Orange County, this is something that's sort of new to us, but it is not new to markets such as the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Those markets have been experiencing sort of the bid price and multiple offers pushing the price up for almost a decade. So this is something that's new to us in South Orange County, but it isn't new to the real estate market in general. So be prepared to have to make multiple offers, multiple rounds of negotiation, often pushing the price up above the original listed price. Okay, so on that point, I've got another insider tip for you. Because the market is in an appreciating state, a rapid curve of appreciation, when you go to get your loan, the bank is going to send out an appraiser to appraise the property. Appraisers look in the rearview mirror. They're looking backwards in time to see what properties have closed to generate their appraised value. In an escalating market, in an upward trending market, it's not uncommon for an appraiser to say, in a price of an example of $1 million, it's not uncommon for the appraiser to appraise the property lower than the contracted price because, again, they're looking backwards. They're not looking where the market is going. So be prepared as a buyer to, in your offer, remove the appraisal contingency from the offer. The appraisal contingency is a standard contingency in the offer in the California Association of Realtor contract. In this market, to be more competitive as a buyer, you can say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm removing that appraisal contingency. I know that my bank might not appraise the property, but that's okay. I understand and I'm willing to move forward regardless. That's a way to really stand out and strengthen your offer. So with that said, on appraisals, be prepared to see the appraisal potentially come in short. Know your numbers with your lender as far as how much money you're putting down, because if an appraisal did come in short, that might mean you have a lower loan to value at the end of the day, which means you might be putting a little bit more cash in towards the down payment. It's just extremely important that you and me were on the same page with your lender so that everybody knows what to expect if an appraisal does come in short. All right, so this next part isn't really a tip or an expectation, but it's a little bit more insight into what's happening in our market in San Clemente. So last year, 2020, the majority of home sales occurred in a price range from 1 million to 1.25 million. That was last year. Now, fast forward to now, the majority of the home sales in San Clemente are happening in a price point from 1.5 million or greater. So what does that mean? If you're offering in the price point that used to be the highest, 1 million to 1.25, and is now the second highest price point, there's more competition in that price bracket than there used to be. So you have to come along with the expectation that I'm in a price point that is now less expensive, which is going to be in more demand. I'm really going to have to come in with a strong offer and understand that there's going to be a lot of competition. All right, so let's talk about and elaborate on the multiple offer situation. That's where there's 5, 10, 15, 20 offers, and the seller is inundated. The seller's agent is inundated with calls and texts and offers, and they're just trying to keep up to see who the best offer is. So what can you do? What can I do as your agent to help you stand out? So it's very, very important that your agent has great communication with the listing agent. I promise you, they're not easy to get a hold of. They're so inundated, their emails, their phones, some people's voicemails are full. So I'm extremely effective at being pleasantly persistent and making sure that I get a hold of the listing agent. I'll even send them a video. I love video, as you know. I'll send them a video so that they can put a face to the name. I'll send them a video with your cover letter so that they can put a face with your offer. Little tricks like that to be persistent. The other thing that's going to come in handy, remember when I told you to use a local lender? That lender might have a relationship. That lender might even be the same lender that's been on deals with that listing agent in the past. So the lender kind of comes into the picture with me, and we help tag team that listing agent so the listing agent knows, like, hey, we've got an offer that's here. This is a great buyer. They're pre-approved. They're not worried about the appraisal. And at least then we're in front. We have the listing agent's attention, which means we have the seller's attention. Now, just last week, interest rates started to creep up. We don't know if that's going to be a permanent trend or if they're going to kind of regress a little again. But it's important that you as a buyer, you know what you're qualifying for. You know your affordability. Because as that interest rate starts to creep up, you might have to pull back on how much you're offering on a property. So it's very important to take advantage of these low rates. We might see a surge of activity because people are concerned that rates are going to go up. If the rates start to go up long term, that might create less competition. So it's something we're keeping an eye on. Very important. I hope you guys all found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Ryan Schramm. Feel free to mention me in the comments below. I love it when you guys comment on my videos and ask questions. I take the time to respond. And some of you are even reaching out via text message. I'd love to hear from you all. Take care.